Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin.
And I'm Rhapthorne.
Who's Rhapthorne?
I'm right here.
What the? Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin.
And I'm Rhapthorne.
The visible Rhapthorne,
Yeah!
not the invisible Rhapthorne. You look different, though. What's different about you? Did you get a haircut? You got a beard cut.
I did.
You got a beard cut!
I did.
He got a beard cut.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't think you really have to be sorry, but I mean...
Well, I'm sorry to those who believe that cutting your beard is a bad thing.
Now that we've gotten that out of the way. How you been, man? Been a long time.
Oh my gosh, I've been so busy with work, and now I have a second job. And we ended up moving, so yeah, there's been a lot going on.
A lot of crazy things.
And I'm ready to get back into some movie reviewing.
Let's do it! All right, so Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I always say that title really slowly, because if I don't, I just say it wrong.
It sounded like you said Peregrine.
I probably did.
Okay.
What's the way to say it?
Peregrine. Like a peregrine falcon.
From this point forward, he will say that title. I don't know why my mouth can't form around that word. So from this point forward, he'll just say it. So welcome to our spoiler talk for Miss
Peregrine's
Home for Peculiar Children. So, all right. Let's just dive into this review then.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, what did you think?
Dude, so pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be kind of hokey with the whole eyeball thing and whatever, but you know, I really enjoyed the backstory leading through the story. Like,
yeah.
Really just kind of telling you how things were as it goes. I've always liked movies like that because you're not so disengaged by the backstory that you want to re-engage with the main story. It's like they all went hand in hand, and it really, really fit well together, and it really explained everything.
Yeah.
Pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, I felt good about that too. Like in the beginning, I thought it was really good setup to get you interested in Abe and the fact that Abe, it's Jacob, like his grandfather Abe had this whole history back in 1943, like actually being in that time, not just in a loop, but in that time, meeting these peculiar children, spending time with Miss
Peregrine
and all that stuff. So Abe just has this awesome history, and I agree with you. I loved getting that backstory, and then as we kind of went through, that still gets filled in some more. And so I just thought that was really cool. And then for whatever reason, I know I saw the trailers for this movie, but I guess it just never registered Samuel L. Jackson was in this. And so all of a sudden, he pops up through the fog. I'm like, Samuel L. Jackson! That man is in everything. Everything.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
I was kind of like you. I was sitting there, and I was like, all right, yeah, okay. And I'm watching the names pop up, and I went, Samuel L. Jackson. Who is he in this movie?
Yeah.
And then, like, when I saw him, I was like, oh, my gosh, that's right.
What did you think of his character in this movie?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, see, I felt like he was having fun with his role. I didn't feel like he did anything sinister. I didn't feel like I was scared of him as a villain. I was more scared of the tentacle monsters.
Yeah, the Hollows.
And the Hollows, thank you. And they weren't super scary to me, but if I had to pick what was the more sinister force in this, it was the Hollows and some of the other dudes with white eyes instead of Sam Jackson.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I think because of Jake's ability to see them, I almost feel like they use that too much.
Yeah, I agree.
I would have liked to have seen less of the Hollows, if that makes sense.
Right. So it's more of that sinister feel.
Right.
That their presence is there. Maybe that weird shadow. Like some of those times they would cut to the point of view of the children when that Hollow came in and was attacking the study that they were in. And you couldn't see the Hollow, but you saw its tentacle shadows.
Right.
So if we had more like that, I agree. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, it was nice to be able to see the monsters and see what it is that's attacking them. But yeah, at the same time, it's one of those things where, yeah, it's just that not knowing where it's at or, really what it's doing, but just by the shadows. I think that would have made it a little more on the scarier side when that stuff happened. But I can kind of understand because they kind of want to gear it towards children a little bit, just because. Oh, look, the kids, they've got special powers.
But okay, but so going off what you said, gearing it towards kids, these monsters grabbed people and ripped out their eyes and ate them. There's this scene where Sam Jackson, like soup, is going through the eyes and he slithers that up. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, so maybe we're showing more of these monsters to make them more cartoony and less scary because we're trying to make it more friendly to kids. But then there's those other scenes where it's like, this is, for a younger child, they might have nightmares for the rest of their life.
I probably would.
Yeah.
Because I just seeing them, all those eyeballs, it's just like...
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was just a weird scene. I felt like the movie didn't explain to me too much how the eyes turned them more human.
Right.
I felt like I was missing that link. I mean, I get it. It's establishing eyes, turn the monsters... Because all these guys, like Sam Jackson, did an experiment to be immortal. And in doing this experiment to be immortal, transformed him and a bunch of his friends into invisible monsters. And then somehow they discovered eating the eyeballs, especially of children.
Peculiar children.
Turned them more back into human form. And I missed the connection of how an eyeball does that.
Yeah, I did too. I just kind of went with it. It was one of those things where I was just like, well, the movie overall is pretty good. That there's definitely plot holes in the movie.
There is,
but I don't know. I just, because everything else was so good, I just kind of went with it.
Yeah, and I did enjoy this movie overall. Saying that, I'm going to hit one more negative.
Yeah,
I felt like Jacob and Emma. I felt like their kind of love story was supposed to be kind of a driving factor for Jacob because it was supposed to give him this major choice as he enters this time loop of 1943. When the bad stuff really goes down and he's, has to face a choice to leave the time loop before it closes and never make it back or stay with them. And what's supposed to give him this choice is knowing he can get to the 2016 time loop and see his grandpa alive again, whose eyes got eaten at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
That was creepy. Or to stay with Emma. And it was supposed to be this major choice, but there's just something about I just didn't feel like they actually had a connection. And I couldn't tell whether it was her acting, his acting, both, or what. But there was, no connection there.
The only time it really seemed real was at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
When he goes back and his grandpa's alive again. And it's like, okay, cool. He got what he wanted. Now he can see his grandpa. And then immediately leaves.
Yes. Which left this open. Did his grandpa die now?
What?
Since he went to 6 months earlier and saw his grandpa to 6 months before his death. Don't you think they'd have a conversation about that? And wouldn't the grandpa choose a different road? So did time change because he went through that 2016 time loop and found his grandpa again?
Weird.
These are deep questions.
I don't know. That whole thing, the time loop thing, it's because they kind of changed the course of history.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does die. Because those hollows, I guarantee he didn't die again.
Okay.
Because those hollows died, right?
They did in the earlier loop.
Right.
Right.
And because his grandpa's not in a loop when he died, right? He's normal time. Because those guys died, there's no way they can come back because he's not in a loop.
That's true. Which then throws the big problem with all time travel movies. So he destroyed those hollows before they had the chance to kill his grandpa. He went and saw his grandpa again. Now we've probably changed, as we've established, that his grandpa never died. So his grandpa never died. That past version of him that was traumatized by the death of his grandpa then had no reason to seek counsel or therapy and all that stuff, which was really Samuel L. Jackson doing his therapy. And then he had no reason to actually go seek out the children to begin with. And so shouldn't he disappear?
Unless because of the time loop, his memories were retained.
That change. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems with time-changing, time-altering movies. It's there's so many different things you could go into to try and explain something, and then you get there, and it's like, oh, but this. And,
but that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, one last negative. I don't know if this is a negative or not, but it's something that we could talk about. I've seen this in my spoiler-free comments. People talking about this movie not having that overall Tim Burton feel that you get.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what did you like that or dislike that?
I kind of hoped for the Tim Burton aspect of it. The only Tim Burton aspect I got out of it was the hollows and the eyeball eating.
So when he was on that island off Wales, everything had that dark foggy blue tint cold feel. Mm-hmm. When he went back to the time loop in 1943, the colors were more warm and more vibrant.
Right.
And that is a Tim Burton thing I've noticed for a lot of movies, like in Edward Scissorhands and things like that, where he'll use color on the screen to show the mood of a scene. And so that was the only thing I think I saw that was Tim Burton-y, and I liked that, but I don't know. I have a theory that Alice Through the Looking Glass was just so terrible that he was trying to completely distance. Let's talk about some of the good. So like Asa Butterfield. Like, what did you think of his performance as Jacob?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's not some of the good.
Well, no, I mean, I thought he did okay. Just, again, the whole love story aspect
That's
of
true.
it
That's like the crucial
didn't land for me. I don't know. He didn't, it didn't really feel like he was invested in anything.
Yeah.
Like, and that may have just been the character itself, but
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like he could have done a better job emotionally, like portraying his love for her and his need to protect the children and blah, 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 blah. So, I don't know. I think he did okay, but
I could agree with that. Yeah, one of the things I liked, and I didn't talk about this in my spoiler-free, was this character Enoch, who, on the one hand, was a cool character, and on the other hand, was very confusing. I mean, jars of hearts laying around, and he reanimates things with them. That was weird, but it was cool.
Weird.
But the part I liked was when he brought the dolls to life to fight each other. And I think the thing that I liked about it was it looked like it was stop-go animation instead of CGI.
Yeah.
And there's...
It was.
And the fact that it was baby dolls or something, like, it just made that even better to me.
It was stop-motion animation, and the only reason I know that is because I was watching the credits, and they have a whole team of stop-motion animation.
Oh, man.
And I was like, oh, that has to be it.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene. I liked it.
That was Tim Burton-y.
Yeah, that was Tim Burton-y. And that was another thing that I think I really liked it, is when it was those throwbacks to Tim Burton-y. And honestly, when it got to the end, and he reanimated that army of skeletons that went out to fight, that was a cool scene, but my one little thing was... oh, they're all CGI.
Right.
Like after that really cool, the baby dolls fighting each other in that really creepy way, and them being that really cool stop motion thing, is like, that would have been a cool novelty of this movie, and I think it would have fit. It was paced very slow. There were times where I felt like it dragged, but it was interesting because the story itself I was interested in. Like, I thought they just did a great job setting it up, that even in those places where it was paced very slow and it dragged a little bit, I was still interested enough in the story that I was like, I want to know what happens.
Sure. You had these moments of, okay, yeah, the story's going, it's good, and it's just like, okay, why are we here?
So in the end, like, what letter grade would you give this movie?
I think had the main actor, what was his name?
Asa Butterfield.
That guy. I think he had a little more emotion. And I think if the love story would have landed better, it would be higher. But I think I'm going to give it a C+.
Awesome.
Just because it didn't feel like Tim Burton enough for me. It's definitely a movie I'd watch again. Because while I was watching this movie, directly behind me, no matter what happened in the movie, if it was suspenseful or sad or happy, like warranted, laughter. Laughter the whole time. Something bad happened, right? Super annoying. And like, it wasn't even like somebody with special needs or anything, which I would completely understand. No, normal guy. Held great conversation afterwards with his wife. Like, I was like, what in the world was this guy thinking? It was super annoying, like super distracting. So I think the second time through, I think it'll be better for me.
Awesome. Well, I gave it a B-. Probably for some of the reasons you said, because I just don't feel like that love story really landed. So I didn't really feel that tension in his decision to stay or leave and things like that. I just felt like it might have been a little too slow-paced. I really think they could have picked it up just a tad bit more.
Yeah.
But I gave it the B- because I did not hate my movie-going experience sitting there watching the theater. Like, I wasn't in there wishing I was somewhere else. I was enjoying the story, looking forward to where it was going to go.
Right.
So.
No, and I did want to make a comment, too, about Miss Peregrine, her character. felt super fake to me.
Oh, really?
Felt super fake.
See,
to
I
me.
liked Eva Green.
I don't know.
I just wanted more of her. That was my note. Like, I thought what she did was good, but I wanted to get to know her better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's part of my reason for C+ is just, I don't know, just didn't really feel engaged with her enough. So
Maybe not as engaging as a movie as it could be. If you saw Miss
Peregrines.
Home for Peculiar Children, what did you think? Make sure to let us know in the comments. And if you read the book and seen the movie, let us know if that helped fill any gaps. Also, I want to let you know, got an awesome review with another co-host who hasn't been here a little while, formerly known as MMA Mexican, but he decided to change his name. We'll talk about that when he gets in here, doing a Luke Cage review. Sunday, going to be doing a live stream with Rachel Wagner on her channel. So you can check out the link to her channel there in the description and check out all that stuff. I'm Durbin.
And I'm Rhapthorne.
Thank you so much for checking out Durbania and subscribing.